fellow speakers. This is Brian, the Speaker for the Dead, coming to you tonight with another video on the Expanse. I wanted to first welcome all the new subscribers that have subscribed. I think in anticipation, I'll get my lips to move right, of what we're going to be talking about with the Expanse in the coming month, 13th, when the Expanse starts to drop. And we actually get to see what's coming. We know what's been, and that's why we're all here. That's why we're wanting to talk about the Expanse. So tonight I just wanted to cover some things really quick and then do some discussions actually on the Expanse. Mainly character discussions on some of the characters that we've come to know and love. So I wanted to explain that this new show, as I said in my previous video, is going to be called Expanding the Expanse. And basically what we're going to be doing is just talking about everything. Coming up with different topics, we may focus on certain characters and different things. Mainly they're going to be specifically tied to the new season of shows. And we're going to be talking about that. But basically anything that falls under the umbrella of the Expanse will be part of those episodes. But I will probably just label, them something different. And then when the actual episodes start to drop, those will be labeled episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'll correspond to whatever episode we're on in the current season. So the other videos will be, that's how you'll be able to separate them out. Whether they're actually part of the season discussion or if they're just extra topics that we're talking about the Expanse. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, just so you know, I discuss everything on my channel. I do not limit myself to this or that or this specific topic or that specific topic. In fact, I really get irritated with channels that do that. I'm a big fan of a lot of the people in the fandom menace, but I watch a lot of different YouTube creators and stuff. And I really get bothered when a creator gets bogged down in like right now, like Star Wars seems to be dominating every discussion on the fandom menace, and it's almost obnoxious at this point. I get it. They're excited. I'm excited. I love Star Wars too. But holy cow, it's like every little teeny piece of information that comes out, they're like, oh, did you hear the big news about Star Wars today? And it's just like, and none of it seems very positive, and I want to be a more positive, upbeat channel. I mean, it doesn't mean we don't talk about negative things here. We just try and focus more on the positive. So what is a Speaker for the Dead? You may have heard me refer to you guys who watch my channel as that. And I am what I consider a Speaker for the Dead, which comes from a series of books by Orson Scott Card. They're science fiction books, very good. Most of you may have not heard of The Speaker for the Dead. That was actually the second in the series of books. The first book was called Ender's Game. My guess is many of you have heard about that one. They actually made a motion picture based on the book. The motion picture didn't really do it justice. Speaker for the Dead is my favorite from that series, and that's what the main character is actually becomes. And so you could go read those books and find out for yourself. But the Speakers for the Dead are about telling the truth. What they would do is they would go after someone's death and they would tell the truth of their life. Not the go to a funeral and stand there and go, he was the bestest man ever, never did anything wrong. He was a loving father, and this guy was in real life was an axe murderer. And so, but the Speakers for the Dead told the truth like it was. When they spoke for the dead, they told who you really were, warts and all, and told the truth about your life. I've taken that and kind of expanded that for my own use, to tell the truth as I see it, about everything, entertainment, politics, life in general. So when I cover subjects on here, I give you my actual opinion, my true opinion. I'm never, you're never going to hear something come out of my mouth that I don't truly believe. And even though I might have a flawed understanding of something or our views might differ, hey, that's what makes this fun. That's what makes this interesting. I actually had a comment on that for my last Expanse video, and I talked to one of the people who was commenting on the channel, and that's what I told them. I said, we may not always agree. You may not like my opinion. You may disagree with my politics, but that's okay. We can actually disagree on some things and still have a good time talking. I don't care whether you're a Democrat, a conservative, a libertarian, whatever. I don't care. I know what I am, and you know what you are, and I really don't fall in any of those camps. I guess I'd lean a little bit more conservative than anything else, but I see validity in a lot of the different points, and I think we get into dangerous situations when we actually bottleneck ourselves into saying, "Well, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, really? Your field of vision is that limited?" So anyway, but I talk about everything, and I don't restrict. I speak from the heart, and most of the time I speak directly off the cuff. And I have a list of things that I kind of want to talk about, but I let the conversation go where I feel it needs to go. Sometimes that means I'm going to end up rambling, and you'll just be like, "Oh, just shut him up." But other times you're going to be like, "Yeah, I never thought of it like that." That's what this is about, starting conversations. I'm going to start doing more live streams. I've done several. I want to start doing more so that I can have more direct interaction with the subscribers and the people watching the videos, so that because I think that's more fun. I think you get more of that direct interaction where you can ask me direct questions, and the conversation just kind of goes along as we decide where it wants to go, and you guys can ask questions, I can ask you questions. It gives us an opportunity to know each other better. And so that's what Speaker for the Dead is. And I hope you're going to enjoy your time here on my channel. I'm really looking forward to it. But if you get offended, or as one of the commenters on my last video said, distracted by political comments, this might not be for you. Because I'm going to call it as I see it, no matter what's going on. If you're one of these people who are just like, I don't like politics at all, well, I'm not the hugest fan of politics either, but I'm not going to ignore it and pretend like, no, politics don't exist. Hollywood's not pushing stuff, or this person's not pushing their opinion, or this person's not. If I see it, I'm going to call it out, whether it's one side or the other side of the aisle doing it. I don't care. Because the comment that was made to me today was like, I shouldn't make those comments. I shouldn't. And I appreciate the commenter. I appreciate his comment and his question and his interest. This is not to make fun of him or disparage that person in any way. But I want you to understand where I'm coming from on this. So that there's no misunderstanding as we're going into the Expanse. You're going to hear me giving opinions based on everything, life experience, and so many different aspects. So I just want you to understand that that's where things will be going here, and that if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you, because politics are a part of life. Things happen, and you have to comment on it. Whether it's good or bad, it's like I said in my comment to this person, I said, that's one of the things I love about the Expanse. I have not seen hardly any of that in the Expanse. There's no identity politics. There's no political agendas that I can see. It's a very broad spectrum, open-ended story where like nobody's beating anybody over the head with their political views. There's gay people in there. Amos gets propositioned by a woman in one of the episodes in season 3, and then immediately gets propositioned by a man, the reporter team that comes on board the Rosinante. And I didn't sit there going, oh, there's gay agenda in this. I can't. There was a gay proposition. I don't care. People live their lives. People are gay. People do whatever they are going to do. But that's what I loved about the show. Nobody called that out. Nobody went, well, you don't like boys, and they made a big deal. It just happened. It's just part of life. And the reactions of Amos were normal. He shut the girl down. He shut the guy down. He wasn't interested in that. He didn't care about that kind of stuff. And he wasn't mean, or he didn't punch him in the face, gay, you faggot, and start do horrible things. I mean, he just was like, nah, I'm not into that. Don't want to do that. I don't care. So, and I love that reaction because, like, it was just a normal reaction from normal human beings interacting with each other, and nothing had to be made a big deal about it. It just was. And that's what I love about The Expanse. It doesn't have any of that nonsense in it. And if it does, it's very cleverly put throughout the seasons so that it's thought-provoking. It's what Star Trek and Star Wars and all this old science fictions used to do. It was clever writing, cleverly put in to discuss social problems of the day or social issues, but it wasn't like, bam, in your face, knocking you over the head with somebody's political view. But it was enough to make you go, I wonder if I should think about that differently. So that's what it's about. Anyway, I want to get on to the main topic of discussion tonight because that's what we really came for. But I wanted to welcome everybody who's new and let you know kind of what to expect. You can go back and I have introductions to my videos or my channel videos that tell you a lot about me, who I am, where my background is from, why you should give a crap about any of my opinions whatsoever. But I care about your opinions. That's what makes life cool, is getting to know people, getting to know their different backgrounds and finding, look at all this stuff we've got in common. So let's get on to the main topic of discussion. Tonight we're going to be discussing the characters from The Expanse. We're going to talk about mainly and predominantly the core characters that are in every episode that it really centralizes around. But we won't be talking about all of them. But that's one thing I love about this show. Even the bit characters that you kind of come in and go out of the seasons and stuff like that, they're great. They are great characters. They're fun, and they really add something cool to the story. Sorry, my dog's scratching at the door. He thinks he needs to get in here. Anyway, so let's talk about, so we've got Jim Holden, who's played by Stephen Strait. And sorry, I'm looking at the papers to make sure I get their names right because some of these names are wicked hard to pronounce. We've got Cass Anvar as Alex Kamali. We've got Dominique Tipper as Naomi Nagata. We've got Wes Chatham as Amos Burton. Yay, Amos. Pardon me. We've got Sean Doyle as Sadavar Ehrenreich. He's one of the UN undersecretaries. And this one's the killer. Sholera Ashtigalu. And she plays Christian Avasarala. And I sat down thinking tonight, who's my favorite character on the show? And that's the question I would ask you. Do you have a favorite? Is there somebody that stands out to you in this show that you're just like, yeah, they're my favorite. I like them better than anybody. One that I actually forgot to mention was Thomas Jane, who plays Josephus or Joe Aloysius Miller, Detective Miller. And those are the main ones. If I had gun to my head, somebody's like, hey, pick your favorite character, I would have to say Miller. I think Miller's one of my favorite characters. He's tough. He's gritty. He's life-hardened. He has a good moral core, but his moral compass fluctuates. My second favorite character, and it's like neck and neck for these two, is Amos. Because they have a really strange moral core. It's like fluctuating, and yet at the same time, there's like rigid things that at the end of the day, as ambiguous as they can be, there's something in them that says, these are the lines I won't cross. and they're fantastic. They're fantastic characters. I like James Holden. I think he plays an excellent lead character in this. I really do. Stephen Strait does a fantastic job as him and stuff. It's just Amos and Miller are kind of these unusual characters that really add like a creative dynamic to the show that just kind of surprises you. If I had to pick a fourth, it's Naomi Nagata or Dominic Tipper. I really like her character. No, when she was first introduced and really kind of getting her footing that first season, I didn't like her. I was just like, somebody just blow her out in airlock. But as the seasons went on, I really started to enjoy her character. And you kind of start to get a feel for where all these different characters are coming in. And that's just it. This is a huge cast kind of show with more characters coming in all the time and characters leaving and going away. That was the hardest thing for me, was when Miller goes down with Julie Mao. I'm like, no, Miller! I really did not want Miller to go. And so in season 3, when he ends up kind of coming back into things, I was just like, cool, they're bringing him back, you know. And he wasn't as back as you would have expected, but he's still there. And I'm glad, because, he, like I said, he is probably my favorite character. It is a real toss-up for me, because they're all so good. I really like the character of Fred Johnson. He's another guy who is morally compromised, morally ambiguous, but at the end of the day, there is that core in him that has had to learn these really hard lessons in life, and it's made him this unusually moralistic character who still understands sometimes you can't save someone. You have to let them go. You have to put them down because they are a threat to everything. And stuff. And it's just, and that's the thing with like Amos. He's just like, he is who he is. And as ambiguous as he can be, he's just like, hey, this is who I am. I mean, he goes as far in the one, I can't remember which season it was in. And I just went back and recently rewatched all 3 seasons in preparation for the 4th season coming in December. But I loved that the episode where I think it's in the 2nd season, where he's gonna they're pulling it to Tycho Station, and he's gonna shoot anybody who comes on the ship, and Holden is basically just like, you shoot anybody, I'll kill you. And he has his gun to the back of Amos's head. Amos is just like, do what you got to do. Like, you're not changing my mind. That I'm not letting people on this ship. And that's the cool thing about Amos is just one of these characters where you know he came up the hard way. He had to live some horrific lessons. And you know, that saying that they say throughout the show, nobody gets out of Baltimore, and yet he did. So you know how tough of a life he's led, and probably what it took him to get even to where he's at. And it's just a fantastic character arc for him. And to see how he's trying to intermix, and how sometimes he doesn't understand the moral codes that everybody else has grown up with, because he grew up in this, you know, Darwin's playground kind of place, where it's just like, you either fight for everything you have or you die. I mean, there is no ambiguity. It's life or death every minute. You make the wrong choice, you sidle up to the wrong person, and boom, you're gone. And it's just, so it makes him a fantastically crazy character to watch what's happening with him. So I want to get your opinions and get your comments back for who's your favorite character, why do you like him? I mean, even if you want, give me a list of like, this is my favorite, and then the next favorite, and stuff, and who you're looking forward to the most in this next season. In the last trailer, they gave us a lot more elements of what's kind of coming. They're giving us some new characters. They're bringing back some of the other characters. I really did not think in the season 3, I did not think I was going to like, and I've just lost their names, and I I printed out an entire sheet because there's so many characters and so many good characters in this show. They just keep adding. So I'm trying to find the guy's name. It's David Stratherin. You say his name. He plays Klaus Ashford. So he plays the second in command of the Behemoth. And I thought, ugh. I like the actor who plays him, but I was just like, ugh, he's going to be annoying. And I actually found by the end of that season, I really liked him. As wrong as he was, and basically, I mean, he provided kind of a cool antagonist to bounce off of, and yet was kind of, he's on their side, yet he kind of becomes an antagonist because he thinks he's right, and they have to basically, the one gal has to knock him down, put him out of commission to finally get him to realize that Holden's telling the truth. It's just all the elements coming together, and the way this story is sewn together. I was telling my wife about it the other night, how I was trying to explain it without giving everything away because I want her to get into this show as well. She hasn't seen any of it. But it is just, it's so interesting. And I told her, it's like in the first season, you kind of start out with all these different stories. And then, like, all of a sudden, these stories kind of coalesce, and all of a sudden, boom, you're in one story with all these different facets and stuff like that. And it's just intertwining, and people who are completely away from each other in this situation somehow end up right within each other. And like I said in my comments, Christian Avasarala, she's got one of the sexiest voices. I love her voice. She's got what I call the Stevie Nicks voice. That dark, gravelly voice for a woman. I can't do it because I'm not a woman. And I can't do that sexy thing. But when she's talking at the beginning of that trailer, I'm just like, oh yeah. Yeah, talk to me. I'm just going to lay here and close my eyes. You could just read the phone book. I don't care. Yeah, I love her voice. And she is such a great character in this. So good. She's another one of them where it's just like, she's right up there in that top group. I don't know where she fits in. It gets really hard to decide who you like more and stuff, because there's so many great characters in this show. And it's just one aspect of it. I mean, the special effects are great. I love the realism. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Star Wars and Star Trek and all these laser beams and lightsabers and all that kind of stuff. But when you go into the world of the Expanse, you feel like, that could be us in 50, 60, 100 years. I mean, rail guns and rockets, and I mean, it feels more real. It feels like you could actually walk into this world, and you would not be surprised. So it doesn't have quite as much of that optimistic feel as you get from like a Star Trek or an Orville, which is another show I absolutely love. Can't wait for the next season of that. Going to be doing a lot of stuff on the Orville as well. Did not expect to like the Orville as much as I do. I thought it was going to be like this stupid retread of Star Trek. It's not. I mean, it kind of is, but since we don't have real Star Trek anymore, they've ruined it. We kind of have to have something to replace it with, and that's kind of the Orville. Don't want to go too far off on that, but you can be looking forward to that as well. I'm going to be doing stuff with the Orville and talking about that. So if you're a fan of that as well, come back here for what we're going to be doing on that. Going to be trying to bring in more people, friends of mine, to do parts of the live stream, and even just some on the videos and stuff, so that you get a slightly different perspective. I find that I'm usually better in conversations when I have somebody to bounce off of. That's why I like the live stream aspect so much more than just sitting here diatribing over a video. There's only so much you can do with that. But anyway, I hope you like this video. Share, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the characters of this. Who's your favorite? Who are you looking forward to seeing coming back in season 4? Who are you worried about maybe not getting to see as much of as before? But even the cool thing about this show, and this will be the point I'll end on, is even the characters that are annoying that I don't like, there's a satisfying ending to them. The in season 2, the spy guy that's on Eros. The guy that keeps betraying and kind of screwing people over, and then he gets eaten by arrows. I was just like, yes, yes. It was just like satisfying ending to a douchebag character. I'm just like, eat him up, suck him up, and take him away. I just, this show really does have it all. I wasn't that big into Game of Thrones and stuff, and then I got into it a little bit towards the end, and then immediately fell out of it because, wow, what a way to screw up a pretty good show. So anyway, let me know what you think. Let's talk some characters, and I hope you enjoy this video, and we will talk to you next time. See you again.